The Majestic Chronicles of Sir Biscuit. Chapter 1. In which I accept my sacred duty. My name is Biscuit, though I prefer to think of myself as Sir Biscuit. Defender of the neighborhood, keeper of peace, and, most importantly, guardian of the old man who feeds me. The old man. His name is Harold, but that seems rather informal for someone of his distinguished age. Thinks I am his dog. This is adorable. The truth, as any dog of wisdom knows, is that I have graciously chosen to accept him as my caretaker. He needs looking after, you see. He shuffles around our small house in his worn slippers, talking to photographs of people who never visit, and sometimes he forgets he's already fed me dinner. I never remind him of this. I am kind, not stupid. He talks to those photographs a lot, especially the one of a younger man with his same nose and that particular way of smiling that looks like he's not quite sure he should be happy. "David," the old man says to the photo, his voice soft and a bit wobbly. "My boy." Then he'll sigh, dust the frame carefully, and shuffle to the kitchen to make tea he'll forget to drink. I tried once to knock the photograph over, not out of malice, but because clearly it makes him sad, and things that make the old man sad should be eliminated. He just picked it up, patted my head, and said, "It's okay, Biscuit. He's busy. Important job. Important life." But his eyes said something different. His eyes said, "I miss my son. I cannot fix this. Not directly. But I have other ways of helping." Every morning I perform my rounds. The old man thinks I'm napping on my cushion by the window, but the moment his breathing deepens into that rattling snore, the one that sounds like a lawnmower arguing with a bagpipe, I slip through the dog door he installed for emergencies. He installed it after that time I barked for 45 minutes straight, because I'd seen a particularly suspicious leaf in the backyard and needed to investigate immediately. He probably thinks he won that negotiation. Sweet, deluded man. The neighborhood is my kingdom, and I take my responsibilities seriously. This morning, I encountered what I can only describe as a diplomatic crisis. Two sparrows screaming at each other over a single worm. The worm, I should mention, looked absolutely terrified, which is reasonable given that it was being fought over by two beings exponentially larger than itself. "Gentlemen," I barked, using my most authoritative voice, the one I reserve for truly serious occasions. They ignored me and continued shrieking at volumes that should be illegal before 8 a.m. I tried a different approach. I ate the worm. Problem solved. Both sparrows flew away in disgusted unity, probably cursing my name in bird language, which I consider a successful peace treaty. They're probably best friends now, bonded by their shared outrage at my intervention. You're welcome, neighborhood. Sometimes peacekeeping requires sacrifice, and by sacrifice I mean a slightly crunchy snack. As I continued my patrol, I passed by number 3 where young couple lives. They were having what the old man calls a domestic on their front porch, something about someone forgetting to call someone's mother. I sat politely at the edge of their yard, tilting my head in concern. The woman noticed me first. "Oh, look at the dog." The man stopped mid-sentence. "That's Harold's dog, isn't it?" They both went quiet, looking at me, then at each other. The woman's face softened. "I should call my mom. She's been asking me to visit." "I should probably call mine too," the man admitted. "I've been putting it off." I wagged my tail encouragingly and moved on. Sometimes my mere presence is enough. I am majestic that way. Chapter 2. The Secret Lives of Humans. Part 1. The thing about being a dog is that humans think we don't understand anything. They'll say the most remarkable things right in front of us, as if we're furniture with fur. Mobile furniture that occasionally needs feeding, but furniture nonetheless. Take Mrs. Chen at number 7. Every morning, she waves at her neighbors with this bright, cheerful smile, her voice like honey drizzled over warm toast. Beautiful day, isn't it? Love your garden, Mr. Patterson. Oh, Ms. Rodriguez, is that a new car? Gorgeous. Everyone thinks Mrs. Chen is wonderful. She volunteers at the community center. She brings cookies to new neighbors. She always remembers everyone's names and asks about their children. But I've been in her backyard. I've heard her through the window, snapping at her elderly father. Why can't you just remember to use your cane? Do you want to fall again? I don't have time for this. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. Her father, I call him Quiet Man because he barely speaks anymore, just sits in his chair looking small, smaller than anyone should look. He used to be tall, I can tell from the photographs on their mantle. I may have investigated while Mrs. Chen was retrieving her mail. It was a very thorough investigation. There may have been counter-surfing involved. In the photos, he's holding a tiny version of Mrs. Chen, and he's smiling like she'd hung the moon and personally arranged all the stars. In one photo, he's teaching little Mrs. Chen to ride a bicycle, running alongside with his hand on the seat, and her face is scrunched up in concentration and joy. In another, they're at her college graduation, and he looks like he might burst from pride. I don't understand how humans forget these things. We dogs remember everything important. Who gives treats, where the good smells are, and who loved us when we were small and learning to be in the world. Yesterday, I noticed Quiet Man had been locked out while trying to get the mail. Mrs. Chen had left for work early. I'd heard her rushing out, talking on her phone about quarterly reports or some human thing. And Quiet Man must have wanted to feel useful, to do something, to be more than just a person sitting in a chair being told what he's doing wrong. But he couldn't remember the new combination for the keypad Mrs. Chen had installed last month. He sat on the porch steps, looking confused and fragile in the afternoon heat. The mail clutched in his shaking hands like it was something precious he'd accomplished. I did what any noble dog would do. I went home, grabbed the old man's water bottle from the porch. He'd left it out again after his morning walk. He forgets things too, but I don't judge. And dragged it back to number 7. It took 3 trips. Water bottles are surprisingly poor at being dragged, especially full ones. And I had to stop twice to rest my jaw, and once to bark at a mail truck that was driving entirely too suspiciously through my neighborhood. Quiet Man's face crinkled into a smile when I finally dropped the water bottle at his feet. His hands shook as he opened it. They always shake now, I've noticed. But he drank, and then he scratched behind my ears with the exact perfect pressure. Good dog, he whispered, and his voice was rough, like he didn't use it much anymore. Very good dog. Margaret, that's my daughter. She's very busy, you know. Very important job. I'm proud of her. But his eyes were sad. I am excellent dog, actually, but I accepted the compliment graciously and sat with him until Mrs. Chen came home. When she pulled into the driveway and saw her father on the steps with me, something changed in her face. Just for a moment, she looked young and scared. Papa, how long have you been out here? Not long, Mia. This good dog brought me water. She looked at me, then at her father, then at the water bottle. Her eyes got shiny. Papa, I'm sorry. I should have... I'll get you your own key. A real key, not the code. I'll do it today. She sat down next to him on the steps, not caring about her fancy work clothes, and they sat there together for a while. I stayed too because sometimes humans need a dog present for the important moments. Chapter 3. The Secret Lives of Humans. Part 2. Then there's Mr. Patterson at number 12. Everyone thinks he's mean. He never smiles, never waves. Yells at kids who cut through his lawn like they're personally offending his ancestors. He once spent 15 minutes shouting at a teenager about respecting other people's property over a single footprint in his flower bed. The neighborhood children call him Mr. Grumpy. The teenagers have less polite names. Even some adults cross the street to avoid him. But I know the truth. I've seen him through his kitchen window at 6 a.m., patiently helping his mother, who asks him the same question 17 times in a row, eat her breakfast. What day is it, Tommy? Wednesday, Mama. What are we having? Oatmeal, your favorite, with brown sugar and cinnamon, just how you like it. Are you my son? Yes, Mama. I'm your son, Thomas. Where's your father? And here his voice gets softer, gentler, even though he must have answered this question 1,000 times. Dad's been gone 12 years now, Mama. I'm sorry. Oh. And then, because she can't remember, the grief is fresh every single time. Oh, my husband. My Charlie. I know, Mama. I miss him too. Then, 5 minutes later, what day is it, Tommy? And he starts again. Wednesday, Mama. His voice never gets sharp. Never impatient. And when he thinks no one's looking, he holds her hand across the table and cries, just a little, just enough that I can see his shoulders shake. Once I heard him talking to someone on the phone. His sister, I think, from the conversation. No, Linda, I can't make it to Thanksgiving this year. I can't leave Mama with a stranger. I know you offered to hire someone. I know it's been 7 years since I visited. I know, Linda. I know. But she's our mother. Someone has to. Yes, I'm sure. Give everyone my love. After he hung up, he sat very still at the kitchen table for a long time. I barked at a squirrel in his yard once. It was being disrespectful, chattering rudely about territorial matters. And Mr. Patterson came out. I thought he might yell at me too. I was technically on his lawn without permission. Instead, he brought me a bowl of water and a piece of his sandwich. Turkey with mustard. Excellent choice. You're Harold's dog, he said. It wasn't a question. Harold's a good man, takes care of you. That's important, taking care of those who need us. We sat together in silence, me eating my sandwich piece, him looking at his hands. My mama used to make me sandwiches, he said quietly, every day for school, always with a note inside the bag. Love you, Tommy. Every single day. I still have some of them, you know. The notes. Kept them in a box. He looked at me like he'd forgotten I was a dog and couldn't respond. She doesn't remember making them now. Doesn't remember my first day of school, or teaching me to tie my shoes, or any of it. But I remember. That has to count for something, right? I put my head on his knee, which is the only answer I could give. He scratched my ears, and his hands were gentle. Good dog, he whispered. We understood each other, Mr. Patterson and I. We were both taking care of someone. We were both tired. We were both doing it anyway. Chapter 4. The Rodriguez Family and Other Explosions. The Rodriguez family at number 15, though. They make my ears hurt even from a distance. The daughter, Maria, visits every Sunday, and within 5 minutes of arrival, it's like someone sets off fireworks made of anger and frustration and love, all tangled together in ways that humans seem to specialize in. Why can't you just listen, Papa? The doctor said no salt. No. Salt. But here you are with your ham and your bacon and your... Is that a salt shaker in your pocket? Are you hiding salt from me? I'm 83 years old. I'll eat what I want. I survived a war, raised 5 children, built my own business, and now my daughter tells me I can't have salt? Salt! This is what my life has become. You're impossible, absolutely impossible. Do you want another heart attack? I want to enjoy my food, and you're bossy, just like your mother. God rest her soul, but that woman could out-argue a lawyer. Mama was trying to keep you alive too, Papa? Someone has to, since you clearly don't care. This goes on for some time. Every single Sunday. Last week I was passing by during one of these explosions. I had been on my way to investigate a concerning situation involving a trash panda and Mrs. Anderson's garbage bin. When Loud Papa, I call him Loud Papa because subtlety is not his strength, nor, I suspect, has it ever been, stormed out to the garden. He was muttering in Spanish, words I probably shouldn't repeat, even though I don't speak Spanish. Tone is universal. He was crying, trying to hide it, pulling weeds with shaking hands that weren't quite steady enough for the task. I squeezed through their fence. Regrettably, there was some undignified wiggling involved. I may have been enjoying the old man's cooking a bit too much lately, and sat next to him in the tomato plants. He looked at me, surprised, wiping his eyes quickly like I might judge him for crying. Hola, perrito. You live with Harold, see? That old gringo with the nice garden? I wagged my tail. The old man does have a nice garden, even if he talks to the tomatoes like they're his friends. They might be. I don't judge. You know what's funny? Loud Papa said, not really asking me, just talking. I used to yell at my papa just like that. Exactly like that. He wanted to keep working in his shop even after the stroke. Said sitting around made him feel like he was already dead. I told him he was being stubborn, that he needed to rest, to let me take care of things. He pulled another weed, not looking at it. He died 3 months later. And you know what I remember? Not the good times. Not the fishing trips or the lessons about business, or how he taught me to dance for my wedding. I remember the fights. I remember telling him to sit down, stop being difficult, listen to the doctors. I remember him looking at me like I was taking away the only thing he had left. His dignity. His voice cracked. Maria is just like me. Stubborn, passionate, too much love and not enough patience for the expression of it. I taught her that. I taught her to fight for what's right, to not back down, to be strong. He looked at me, really looked at me. But strength without gentleness is just noise. And I'm tired, Perrito. So tired. But I don't know how to tell her that when I eat the salt, it's not because I don't care about living. It's because I need to feel like I still get to make some choices. You understand? I put my head on his knee. He cried harder, but the good kind of crying, I think. The kind that means something's releasing, something that needed to come out. His hand found my head, and he stroked my fur with the kind of gentleness that comes from remembering how to be gentle with yourself. She makes me tamales, he said, laughing a little through the tears. Every Sunday she brings tamales, just like I taught her. She doesn't know I know, but she gets up at 5 in the morning to make them fresh, drives 40 minutes to get here. She has a very important job, you know? Works with computers, things I don't understand, but every Sunday she's here. He was quiet for a moment. She could just call, but she comes, even though we fight, because she loves me. Papa? We both turned. Maria stood at the edge of the garden, her perfect work clothes now wrinkled, her makeup smudged from crying. How long had she been there? Papa, I'm sorry, she whispered. I sound just like you used to sound with Abuelo, don't I? Loud Papa's face did something complicated. Ay, mija, you do. Exactly like me. I don't want to remember fighting, she said, her voice breaking. When you're gone, I don't want to remember being angry about salt. Then come here, sit with me. Tell me about your week. The real parts, not just the work parts. And maybe I can have a little salt. Not too much. A compromise, see? She laughed, crying at the same time, which humans seem uniquely capable of doing. She sat down in the dirt, ruining her fancy work clothes completely, and leaned against her father. "You taught me to make tamales," she said softly. "You were so patient. It took me 17 tries to fold them right." 18, he corrected, smiling. "But who's counting?" "You were." "I was very patient." "You were. You never yelled, not once. Even when I got masa everywhere. Even when I wanted to give up." They sat there, leaning against each other, and I quietly excused myself. My work was done. Also, I'd spotted a cat that desperately needed to be chased off the fence. One must maintain order. But I heard Maria's voice as I left. "Maybe we could cook together next Sunday? Instead of me just bringing food?" "I would like that, Mia. I would like that very much." Chapter 5. Peace Talks, Diplomatic Incidents, and Other Disasters. Not all my interventions go smoothly. I should be honest about this. For posterity and historical accuracy. When they write the ballads about Sir Biscuit, and they will, I want the record to reflect both triumphs and learning experiences. Take the Great Cat Dog Summit of Thursday afternoon. There's been tension between the Tabby Cat Gang from number 9 and the Poodle Brothers from number 11. Territory disputes, mostly. Very serious stuff involving who gets to patrol which fence line, and who has rights to the sunny patch behind the community mailbox. I called a meeting in the neutral zone. Mrs. Anderson's rose garden. She's on vacation visiting her daughter in Seattle, and what she doesn't know won't hurt her. The attendees were myself, obviously, as mediator, 3 tabby cats, the eldest one with the torn ear, who I suspect has seen some things in her 9 lives, 2 poodles brothers, very well groomed, annoyingly French-sounding names, and one extremely judgmental Siamese from number 13 who invited himself and sat at the back making commentary. "Gentlemen and lady," I nodded to the eldest tabby, who hissed at me for assuming her gender. "We must find peace. This neighborhood is big enough for all of us." "The poodles pee on our fence," said the tabby, her tail lashing, deliberately, with intent, while making eye contact. "The cats leave dead birds on our porch," yapped the smaller poodle, trembling with indignation. "3 dead birds. Our humans stepped on one in bare feet." "Those are gifts," the tabby shrieked. "We were being neighborly." "They're threats. Everyone knows dead birds are threats." "That's culturally insensitive," the Siamese called from the back. "Cat culture is valid." This was deteriorating quickly. I tried to mediate. I really did. I suggested a border agreement based on the ancient principle of stay on your side and I'll stay on mine. I proposed a gift-giving moratorium until we could establish clearer communication protocols. I even offered to personally patrol the disputed territory and maintain order. The eldest tabby looked at me with those ancient, skeptical eyes. And why should we trust a dog to be impartial? "Because," I said with as much dignity as I could muster, "I don't pee on fences or leave dead things on porches. I am above such pettiness." "You dug up Mrs. Anderson's tulip bulbs last spring," the Siamese noted helpfully. "All of them," she cried, betrayed by my own past. That was a misunderstanding. I thought I smelled a very important smell. It turned out to be a very old tennis ball. "Was it worth it?" asked the smaller poodle. "It was an excellent tennis ball," I admitted. Somehow, this devolved into everyone arguing about everyone's past transgressions. Apparently, the poodles once knocked over the tabby's food bowl. Accidental, they claimed. though the evidence suggested otherwise. The tabbies had allegedly left a hairball in the poodle's favorite sunspot. Definitely on purpose, no one disputed this. It ended with everyone chasing everyone. Mrs. Anderson's roses becoming unfortunate casualties of war, and me hiding under a car, questioning my diplomatic career choices, and wondering if maybe I should just stick to simple tasks like fetching sticks and looking adorable. But here's the thing. The next day, I saw the eldest tabby and the smallest poodle drinking from the same puddle in Mrs. Anderson's driveway. Not fighting, not even hissing, just coexisting. The poodle finished first and walked away, and the tabby didn't swipe at him. Progress is sometimes messy and involves destroyed roses and wounded dignity. But it's still progress. I anonymously left a stick on Mrs. Anderson's porch when she returned. She seemed confused but pleased. I remain committed to making amends. The incident with the lost toddler also requires explanation, though in this case the quotes are undeserved. She was genuinely lost, just not in the way I initially thought. I found a tiny human wandering alone near the corner of Maple and Oak, crying those huge gulping sobs that tiny humans do when they're very upset. She was wearing pajamas with dinosaurs on them, excellent choice, and one shoe, less excellent. Clear emergency. Obviously lost. Possibly abandoned. Definitely in need of heroic rescue. I gently took her jacket sleeve in my mouth very carefully, using only my front teeth, the way the old man taught me when we practiced gentle with his newspaper, and led her toward home. I knew where she belonged, number 17. I'd seen her playing in that yard before, heard her voice, knew her scent. She stopped crying immediately and started giggling. Doggy, nice doggy. See, I am good at this. I led her down Maple Street with great purpose, her little legs running to keep up, until we reached number 17. I barked. My important business bark, not my there's a squirrel bark. There's a difference. An elderly woman threw open the door, her face a mixture of panic and relief. Emma Grace, oh my lord. Where have you been? I've been looking everywhere. Did this dog bring you back? The toddler, Emma Grace, apparently beamed. I runned away, but doggy bring me home. You what? Why did you run away? You said bedtime. I don't like bedtime. The grandmother's face did several complicated things at once. Relief, exhaustion, frustration, and then, surprisingly, she started crying. She scooped up Emma Grace and then looked at me. Thank you, she said, her voice shaky. Thank you, dog. I was terrified. I only turned my back for a minute and she was gone, and I thought, her voice broke. Then she called someone Emma Grace's mother, I gathered from the conversation. Lots of apologizing. Lots of, I'm so sorry, I should have been watching her better. I know. I'm sorry. The toddler thought it was all very exciting and waved at me through the window. I considered this a successful rescue, despite the bedtime rebellion aspect. And later, much later, after I'd completed my other rounds and was heading home, I passed by number 17 again. The grandmother was on the phone, visible through the front window. Ma, I know. I know I get frustrated with you. But today, this dog brought back Emma, and she was laughing, and I thought about how you used to chase me down when I ran away from bedtime. Remember? I'd hide behind the couch and you'd pretend you couldn't see me. And I thought about yesterday when I yelled at you about the thermostat. It's just a thermostat. Who cares if you like it at 75? I'm sorry. She was crying a little, the good kind. Would you want to come over for dinner tomorrow? Emma asks about you all the time. I know I said it was too much work, but I want her to remember her great-grandma. The way I remember you chasing me around the house, pretending to be a monster. The fun parts, not just me being impatient about thermostats. So, small victories. A scared grandmother remembering to be gentle. A great-grandmother about to receive an apology she deserves. A toddler safely home, even if she did consider the whole thing an excellent adventure. Sometimes the best rescues are the ones where everyone learns something, even if what they learn is to watch the toddler more carefully during bedtime negotiations. Chapter 6. How Stories Travel. The thing about neighborhoods is that everyone talks. Mrs. Anderson tells Mrs. Chen about her roses. Completely destroyed, but there was this lovely stick on my porch, so strange. At the community mailbox, Mrs. Chen mentioned seeing that scruffy dog from number 4 bringing water to her father, and how it made her think about things, and how she's been trying to be more patient. Mr. Patterson, in a rare talkative moment at that same mailbox. Apparently, the mailbox is the neighborhood's unofficial social hub. Grunts about a dog who isn't as dumb as he looks, and who understands things. This is, coming from Mr. Patterson, equivalent to a sonnet of praise. The Rodriguez daughter, Maria, tells her co-worker about finding a dog comforting her father in the garden. It was the weirdest thing, she says over lunch in the break room of whatever building she works in with all the computers. But it made me think. My dad's not going to be here forever, you know? And I don't want to spend his last years fighting about salt. Her coworker, let's call him Office Man because I've never met him. But I imagine he's very office-y, with a desk and a computer and one of those chairs that spins. Listens. Really listens, not just waiting for your turn to talk, listening. He's been avoiding visiting his own father. There's been a fight. Something about money or politics or one of those things humans fight about, instead of just sniffing each other, wagging tails, and moving on with life like sensible creatures. The fight was 3 years ago. Office Man's father said something about voting. Office Man said something back. Voices were raised, doors were slammed, and now 3 years have passed in stubborn silence. The way humans do when they're too proud to be the first one to bend. That's really, Office Man says slowly, pushing his sad desk lunch around. It's making me think. I haven't seen my dad in 3 years. Over something stupid. And here you are, making tamales at 5 in the morning every Sunday. Maria looks at him. 3 years is a long time. Yeah. He's quiet for a moment. Does your dad live around here? Maple Street. Number 15? Why? Just wondering. My dad's on Maple, too. Number 4. He pauses. Small world. Maria's expression shifts, something like recognition crossing her face. Wait, number 4? Is your dad Harold? Office Man, whose actual name is David, whose childhood bedroom is still exactly as he left it in the old man's house, whose father keeps his favorite cookies in the pantry just in case. David looks up, surprised. Yeah, how did you? My dad mentions him sometimes. Says he has a nice garden but never gets visitors. She says it gently, not accusingly, but David flinches anyway. My dad worries about him being alone. Says he has a dog now, at least. David goes very quiet. He's thinking about his father in that house at number 4, alone except for a dog he didn't even know about until this moment, and about how much time has passed since that stupid fight about politics that, honestly, neither of them probably remembers the details of anymore. Just the anger. Just the pride. Just the silence. 3 years, 3 weeks, 2 days, and approximately 7 hours since the fight. Not that the old man counts. Except he does. I've seen the calendar. Your dad talks about my dad? David asks, his voice small. Sometimes, usually when he's talking about the neighborhood, he likes to know everyone's doing okay. He's nosy that way. Maria smiles a little. He said something last week, actually, about how all these little things have been happening on our street. People being kinder to each other. He thinks it's because of Harold's dog. The dog? He's probably exaggerating, but he was comforted by this dog, your dad's dog. And he said he saw the same dog bringing water to Mrs. Chen's father when he got locked out. And somehow that made Mrs. Chen realize she'd been treating her dad like a burden instead of, you know, her father. Then other things started happening. People paying more attention, being more patient. She looks at David directly now. He said even he's been thinking differently. About how he talks to me. About how much time we waste being angry when we could be not angry. David's lunch sits forgotten. I should call him. Yeah? Yeah. Tomorrow. I'll call him tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes after this project. And humans are very good at putting things off when those things are scary, or require admitting you might have been wrong. Meanwhile, Mrs. Chen mentions to her hairdresser, because apparently hairdressers are also centers of information exchange, about the dog and her father and being more patient. The hairdresser mentions it to another client. That client mentions it at her book club. Someone from book club mentions it at yoga. The yoga instructor mentions it to her neighbor. And that neighbor also works in David's building. 3 floors up. Different department. She catches him in the elevator one Monday morning. You live on Maple Street, don't you? She asks. With your dad? David looks up, surprised. No. My dad lives there. I live across town. How did you? My yoga instructor knows someone who knows someone. You know how it is. Anyway, apparently there's this whole thing happening on your dad's street. People being nicer to their elderly parents. Something about a dog going around doing good deeds or whatever. Sounds like one of those feel-good news stories. She laughs, but David doesn't. The second time he'd heard stories mentioning a dog on Maple Street. A dog, he says slowly. The dog. Most likely his father's, if he trusts Maria Rodriguez's words. He's thinking about his father. About the fight. About 3 years of silence. About how his father is 78 years old, and time doesn't stop just because you're too stubborn to apologize. I know, right? Probably just neighborhood gossip getting exaggerated. But it's nice, I guess. People paying attention to their parents. Lord knows mine drive me crazy, but... She shrugs as the elevator dings. Anyway, have a good Monday. David stands in the elevator for a moment after she leaves, letting the doors close, then open again when someone else calls for it. That night, he looks at his phone for a long time. The next morning, he calls in sick to work. He doesn't call his father. He doesn't text. He just drives to Maple Street. Chapter 7. The Return. This morning starts like any other morning. The old man wakes up early, makes his coffee, burns his toast slightly, and settles into his chair by the window with the newspaper. He's not expecting anything. Why would he be? It's a Tuesday. Just another Tuesday. I, Sir Biscuit, almost postponed my rounds. Something feels different in the air, though I can't explain what. But then I hear shouting outside. The loud papa is having another argument, not with Maria, with his neighbor about a tree branch that fell on the fence. And someone's car alarm is wailing its terrible mechanical song. And there are several pressing matters requiring my attention. The neighborhood needs me. Duty calls? I give the old man a routine lick on his hand. He tastes like coffee and newspaper ink and slip out. Today, I work faster. I break up the argument. Definitely not about a tree branch that fell on the fence, but because they're both stressed about other things and taking it out on each other. I bark until they stop shouting and start saying, "Whose dog is that?" And remember, they actually like each other. I accidentally on purpose lean against the car with the screaming alarm until something shifts and it stops. Was this helpful or just fortunate timing? I choose to believe helpful. I check on Quiet Man. He waves at me from his window. Mrs. Chen is sitting with him. I can see her, reading him the newspaper, and when I look closer, she's holding his hand. Progress. I give Mr. Patterson's mother a wide berth but a friendly woof as she waters plants in her nightgown and socks. Mr. Patterson is there too, helping her, his hand gentle on her elbow to keep her steady. He sees me and nods. We understand each other. I pass by number 15 again, because someone have to keep an eye on Loud Papa's temper. Loud Papa's in his garden, tending his tomatoes, and I hear music coming from inside. Maria is there on a weekday, I realize, and they're cooking together, their voices raised but in laughter this time, not anger. The smell of tamales drifts through the window. My mouth waters, but I have self-control. Mostly. The neighborhood is settling into something softer. Like everyone took a breath at the same time and remembered to be gentle. I am not fool enough to think I did all of this. Humans make their own choices. But maybe, just maybe, I helped remind them what choices were worth making. When I return home, there's a strange car in the driveway. I pause. My hackles rise. But then I hear it through the door, laughter. The old man is laughing, really laughing. The kind that makes his whole body shake and sounds like it's been saved up for months and is finally allowed out. I slip through the dog doors, silent as shadows. I am very stealthy when I want to be, despite what the old man says about my thundering paws. And there he is, the son. David, older than his photographs, grayer at the temples, with tired eyes that look like they haven't slept well in a while. But unmistakably him. Same nose as the old man. Same way of holding his shoulders. "Dad, I'm sorry," David is saying, and his voice cracks on the words. "I've been an idiot. I've been a complete idiot. Work got busy, and then after the fight, I didn't know how to. And then it felt like too much time had passed. And I kept thinking I should call. But then I'd get in my head about it, and, God, Dad, I'm so sorry. I should have called. I should have visited. I should have been here." "You're here now," the old man says, and his voice is doing that wobbly thing, and his eyes are shiny. "That's what matters. You're here now, son." They're sitting on the couch, and the old man's hand is gripping David's arm like he's afraid if he lets go, David might disappear like smoke. "I was so stupid," David continues. "That fight, I don't even remember what we were arguing about. Politics? Something on TV? It doesn't matter. It was never worth this. Never worth 3 years of not talking to you. I was stubborn too," the old man admits. "Waited for you to call. Proud old fool. Your mother would have knocked both our heads together." He laughs, but it's sad. She was always the one who made us talk things out. I'm not good at it without her. "Me neither," David whispers. "I miss her, Dad." "I miss her too, son. Every day." They sit there for a moment, and I stay very still on my cushion, watching. This feels sacred somehow. Private. "I've been keeping your room exactly the same," the old man says, "just in case you wanted to stay over sometime. And I got those cookies you like." The ones with the chocolate chips. They're probably stale now, but I keep replacing them. Every week. Just in case. David makes a sound that's half laugh, half sob. Dad? And I watched that show you told me about. The one with the dragons? I don't really understand it. There's too many characters and everyone has complicated names. But I watch it because you said it was good, and it makes me feel like we're watching it together even when we're not. I didn't know you were watching that. Well, I am. I'm on season 4. Don't tell me what happens. They laugh together, and it's watery but real. David notices me then. I've been trying to be invisible, but I'm a large dog on a small cushion, so invisibility has its limits. Dad, you didn't tell me you got a dog. Oh, that's Biscuit. The old man brightens even more, which I didn't think was possible. Come here, boy. Come meet David. I approach slowly, giving David time to offer his hand. He smells like the old man. Same genetic material, same family, even after all this time. But also like coffee and stress and car interior and that particular synthetic smell of office buildings. He kneels down and he scratches exactly the right spot behind my ears. He knows how. The old man taught him probably years ago with another dog. Hey, Biscuit, David says softly and his voice is thick. Thanks for taking care of my dad. If only he knew. If only humans could understand what dogs understand. That we don't take care of them because we have to, but because they need us, and being needed is the most important job in the world. The old man beams. He's a good dog. Lazy, sleeps all day, but good company. I got him from the shelter 2 years ago. Thought the house was too quiet. Lazy. The injustice continues. But I forgive him because he looks so happy. I should have been here, David says, still scratching my ears but talking to his father, so you wouldn't be lonely. You have your own life, son. Important job. I'm proud of you. The job doesn't matter more than you do, Dad. Nothing matters more than you do. I forgot that. I won't forget again. Don't make promises you can't keep, the old man says, but gently. Just visit when you can. Call when you can't. That's enough. I can do better than enough, David says firmly. I will do better. Actually, he seems to make a decision. What if I started coming for dinner once a week? Would that be okay? I could come after work on Thursdays. We could watch that dragon show together. And you could tell me which characters you think are going to die. They all might die, the old man says seriously. It's that kind of show. Very stressful. But I'd like that. Thursday dinners. It's a deal. They settle into talking, and slowly, carefully I stand. The afternoon sun is perfect, streaming through the windows in that golden way that means it's around 3 o'clock. There's a cat at number 14 who's been getting too bold about the bird feeder. I've been monitoring the situation, and it's reaching critical levels. The elderly couple at number 8 probably needs their newspaper retrieved from the bushes again. Their aim when throwing from the car is not what it used to be. I am a dog of duty. I move toward my dog door, but David notices. Where's he going? Oh, he does this, the old man says fondly. Goes out for a bit in the afternoon. Probably just wanders around, sniffs things. You know how dogs are. I pause at the door, looking back at them. The old man has his arm around David's shoulders now, and they're looking at a photo album. The old man is pointing at something, telling a story, and David is laughing. This is why I do what I do. This moment. This repair? This remembering that love matters more than pride. I slip out through my door, the sound of their voices following me like a warm breeze. Dad, remember when you taught me to ride a bike? You crashed into Mrs. Henderson's mailbox. You told her it was the wind. Well, it was a very strong wind. very convincing. Their laughter fades as I trot down the street, my tail high, my purpose clear. Chapter 8. Full Circle. I make my rounds with extra spring in my step. The neighborhood feels different today, or maybe I feel different. Lighter. Like something that needed to happen has happened. At number 7, Quiet Man is sitting on the porch with Mrs. Chen. They're not doing anything special, just sitting together, and she's showing him something on her phone. Photos, I think. He's smiling at them, and she's smiling at him smiling. When she sees me, Mrs. Chen stands up. "Papa, look, it's that dog, the one who brought you water." She comes down the steps and, to my surprise, kneels to pet me. "Thank you," she says quietly, like she's telling me a secret. I don't know if dogs understand thank you, but thank you. I was so caught up in everything. Work, stress, trying to keep everything perfect, that I forgot to just sit with him. Just be with him. She scratches under my chin. My father raised me by himself after my mother died. Did you know that? I was 7. He worked 2 jobs, learned to braid hair from a YouTube video, showed up to every parent-teacher conference even when he was exhausted. And I was treating him like an inconvenience. Her voice breaks. Not anymore. We're having lunch together every day now. I work from home in the afternoons. My boss wasn't happy, but I told him my father is more important than quarterly reports. Some things you can't get back once they're gone. Quiet Man waves at me from the porch. I wag my tail at him. He looks less quiet somehow. Less small. Maybe it's just that someone's seeing him properly again. At number 12, Mr. Patterson is helping his mother water the flowers. She's singing something, off-key and cheerful, and he's singing with her, and they're both getting water everywhere but the plants. He sees me and pauses. "Harold's dog," he acknowledges with a nod. His mother looks at me and claps her hands. "A puppy! Tommy, we should get a puppy." "I'm not a puppy, ma'am," I want to tell her. I am a distinguished adult dog of considerable experience. But I wag my tail politely instead. "Maybe we should, Mama," Mr. Patterson says, and he sounds thoughtful. "Someone for you to have around. Someone friendly." "You're friendly," his mother says, touching his face with a wet plant water hand. "My good boy. My Tommy." His eyes get shiny, but he smiles. "That's right, Mama. You're Tommy." He looks at me over her head, and something passes between us. An understanding. We're both tired. We're both still here. We're both learning that being tired doesn't mean giving up. At number 15, I hear music and laughter. The loud papa is teaching Maria to dance. I can see them through the window, and she's stepping on his feet, and they're both laughing about it. The tamales are cooling on the counter. It's not Sunday, but she's here anyway. "Like this, Mia? Listen to the rhythm." "Papa, I have no rhythm. You know this." "You have rhythm. You just choose not to use it. Very stubborn." "I learned from the best." "Yes, from me. Now try again." I sit outside their window for a moment, watching them spin around the kitchen, and the loud papa's face is bright with joy, and Maria looks younger, less burdened, more like the little girl in those photos, who learned to make tamales and ride a bike and be strong. The elderly couple at number 8 is sitting on their porch swing, holding hands, not talking. They're very old, both of them, and they move slowly, but they move together. They've been married 63 years, I heard them telling someone once. 63 years of being together, and they still hold hands like it's the most natural thing in the world. They see me and wave. I wag my tail. Some things don't need fixing. Some things are already exactly right. At number 17, Emma Grace is playing in the front yard with her grandmother and great-grandmother. 3 generations, running around, playing tag. And the great-grandmother is moving slowly but moving. And everyone's adjusting their pace so she can keep up. Emma sees me and shrieks, "Doggy, adventure, doggy!" I decide not to risk another incident and keep moving. Dignity, Biscuit. Maintain dignity. But I hear the grandmother call out, "Thanks, adventure, doggy!" And she's laughing, and she doesn't sound tired anymore. The sun is starting to lower, painting everything gold and orange and that particular shade of pink that means evening is coming. I've done my rounds. The neighborhood is settling into dinner time. I can smell cooking from various houses, hear the clatter of dishes, the murmur of conversation. Everything is as it should be. I head home, my pace leisurely now, stopping to sniff interesting things because some detective work is necessary, even after a successful day of diplomacy and heroism. When I reach number 4, David's car is still in the driveway. Through the window, I can see them in the kitchen. David is chopping something. Vegetables, I think, and the old man is supervising, pointing at things, probably giving instructions. They're cooking together, making dinner together. The old man sees me through the window and waves, his whole face lit up with happiness. I could go in, resume my position on my cushion, accept the inevitable under-the-table scraps that will come with dinner. But something makes me pause. This moment is theirs. They need this time, just the 2 of them, to remember how to be father and son without all the months of silence between them. I'll be there later. I'll be there tonight and tomorrow and all the days after. That's my job. But right now, they need each other more than they need me. So I turn and I trot back down the street, my tail high, my head higher. There's a suspicious gathering of squirrels at number 6 that requires immediate investigation. Possibly an illegal acorn hoarding situation. Very serious. And Mrs. Anderson mentioned she was expecting a package. I should make sure it arrives safely. And someone needs to check that Quiet Man takes his evening medicine. Mrs. Chen is good about reminding him now, but backup never hurts. And Mr. Patterson's mother likes when I sit with her during the evening news. She pets my head and tells me stories about a dog she had when she was young. And even though she tells me the same stories every time, they're good stories. About a golden retriever named Sunny who could catch frisbees and once saved her from a bee. The details change each time she tells it, but the love in her voice stays the same. I am Sir Biscuit, defender of the neighborhood, keeper of peace, bringer of water, mediator of disputes, successful and otherwise, guardian of the old man, and reminder to humans that love is more important than pride. It's exhausting being this majestic, but someone has to do it. The evening air is perfect. The squirrels at number 6 are definitely up to something. Mrs. Anderson's package has just been delivered. I can see the truck pulling away, and it's sitting on her porch, completely undefended. I break into a gentle run, because duty calls, and also because running feels good when you've spent the day making the world a little bit better. Behind me, through the window of number 4, I hear David laugh at something the old man said, and the sound carries down the street like a bell ringing, clear and bright and right. Tomorrow, the old man will wake up and find David still there, probably sleeping in his childhood bed, probably snoring the way the old man snores. It's genetic, clearly. They'll have breakfast together. The old man will probably burn the toast like he always does, and David will probably eat it anyway and say it's perfect. And I'll slip out for my rounds, like always, because the neighborhood needs me. But tonight, I'll go home later than usual. after I've checked on everyone, after I've ensured all is well in my kingdom. And when I do go home, I'll curl up on my cushion and listen to the two of them talking late into the night, making up for lost time. And I'll feel satisfied. This is what I do. This is who I am. I am Sir Biscuit. And this is my neighborhood. Or, as I prefer to think of it, just another day in the majestic life of Sir Biscuit, who will return tomorrow for more adventures. Because someone has to keep these humans from forgetting what matters. P.S. The squirrels were definitely hoarding acorns illegally. I scattered them. Justice was served. Also, I may have eaten several. They were delicious. This is not relevant to the larger narrative, but I wanted it noted for the historical record.